G'day,
Hi, I'm Rosa,
and I'm Lisa.
and we're doing our first YouTube channel, our first video on tea and social politics.
Yep. So, I'm related to Captain Cook, and Rosa here has been a party to a lot of politics and social justice issues that have been being discussed at the moment, both in the general population, but specifically at church. So one of those was the Archbishop holds conversations about 4 a year, and Rosa has been coming with me to those. I've been sick, so I haven't been for a while because it's a very early get up. But yeah, so you've been coming to those with me, haven't you?
Yeah, they happen about every 4 times a year, and they start at about 7:30 in the morning, so you have to get up really early. So even for us able-bodied people, it's it's a real haul.
Glenn, our priest, he doesn't go because it's too an early start for him, but he also has Wednesday mass, and so he can't come. So obviously general issues for the population, but the reason why we've decided to do this YouTube channel is to let you know what's been happening which you might otherwise not know. So for instance, my church that I went to was the real centre for the debate about female priests. We passed it before the Queen did. Actually, with that, I thought the Queen was quite old when female priests came up. So when I was 8 and being asked about it, the Queen to that date hadn't involved herself in female priest debate. So anyway, so not only does the church have have had progression in terms of female priests, but my church also has a Indigenous priest now, and Rosa has come with me to NAIDOC Week, so National Indigenous Reconciliation Week. You've come to quite a few events.
Yeah, I like Glenn a lot. He's a fantastic priest, and I like his approach to the Anglican church. I like the way he gives sermons, and I like the way he speaks, and it's a very unique way of approaching religion. Yeah, it's great. It really is.
So I wrote a book about 6 years ago on Indigenous issues. Basically what I did was I got the Dummy's Guide to Indigenous Issues, which was a Larissa professor, an Aboriginal professor, and I went through and I addressed all the issues that she had. And then about a year or two later, Glenn, part Indigenous priest, came to St Oswald's, which is where we attend. Anyway, so I'm bringing this YouTube channel with Rosa to discuss some of the church issues, especially like it's an old congregation, and I'm really worried that we're going to lose churches without having a debate about what we want discussed.
Yeah, the young people just aren't coming. It's a very old congregation.
Maybe we're going to bring you quite a few YouTube posts, YouTube movies, and I'll let Rosa tell you some of the issues that we're going to discuss. But the closure of churches we haven't got down, and probably should, because it's been very interesting what Glenn's had to say about the churches closing down in Tasmania.
Some of the issues that we're going to be looking at, of course, Indigenous affairs, population, which is really important to Australia, Brexit, we're going to look at that, immigration, climate change, emergency shelters in churches, church issues, makeup and clothing, dance, abortion, women priests, Adami, which is the coal mine in the north, and I'd like to talk about issues of America, things like what it was like to live there about 28 years ago and what it's like to live there now, because I've been back a couple of times and it's really changed, especially with Trump in the White House. It's a changed country. It's a very angry country now. As you can hear, I'm from the United States. I migrated here about 27 years ago. And I've actually lived in Australia longer than I lived in America. I left America when I was 25. So I'd like to talk about America a little bit.
The other thing I'd like to talk about on another occasion is the Women's International League of Peace and Freedom, which was founded in 1915 in the Netherlands, and it was a body of women that got together and were not okay with World War One, and they came together to write a list of demands to try and stop World War One. Don't think many people realise that particular body, and we'll talk about that another day. But yeah, we could go into detail in these issues for quite some time, but we'll probably leave it there today.
We'll also be discussing tea a little bit, going to different tea houses around Melbourne and telling you about them. The first tea house that we went to was the Heritage Wall Cafe in Camberwell, and we really enjoyed going there. We went there a couple of times, and we found it very airy and open, and we liked the service and we liked the tea. We'll show you some images of that cafe, and yeah, I always order chai tea, and Lisa always orders green tea when we can get it. We do. Sometimes we try different teas.
If we find a tea house that is like really different to anything we've seen, then we will try teas that we don't normally sort of fall back on.
Yeah.
So the Hopeton tea rooms in Melbourne, I tried a Fijian tea, and it was papaya and pineapple, and it was basically like gorgeous geisha from T2. But yeah, so my go-to tea is green tea, and yours is chai.
Chai tea, yeah.
Sometimes we just do try some other things.
Okay, so we'll wind it up here. Listen,
just before we do a rating of the tea houses that we go to.
Yeah, we do. We gave the Heritage Wall basically an 8 for ambiance. For the tea, Lisa gave it a 9, and for me I gave it an 8. And for the service and friendliness, we both agreed on an 8. So yeah, we liked it. But we have other tea houses that we liked more, and we'll talk about those another day. So yeah, like I said, we'll wind it up here.
So just before we go, so basically how this came about is the two of us have been talking politics over tea for how many years now?
5, 6.
5, 6 years.
Yeah, we've been together a long time.
Yeah, like Rosa's married. She's my best friend. But yeah, we're not together that way. We're just we're best friends. So yeah, so we've been for about 6 years, 5, 6 years. We've been discussing politics over tea. So here we are, the channel for politics and tea, and enjoy the photos of the tea house we visited.
Yeah, the Heritage Wall. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And press the like button if you did like what you saw, and subscribe if you want to, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank
See you. Bye.
Upon my knee, just tea for two and two for tea, just me for you.